much what we're doing here, just talking about movies of 2024. We're reaching that end. We're reaching that end of December. Well, December just started, right? What am I talking about? But we are already a week into December, and we've already had some movies release as well. We have about, I would say, 6 or 7 big releases left in the year, and that's going to be we had Night Bitch today. We had Y2K. Next week, I believe we have Craven the Hunter. Then the week after that, there is Sonic 3, A Complete Unknown, Lion King Mufasa, Baby Girl. Then we do have Nosferatu, and I think that's about it, right? Like that's pretty much all of the movies of 2024 that are left. So about 8 to 10 movies that are like big releases, right? There's still like some releases on streaming and things like that, but I do just need to watch about like 5 of those, and then that's pretty much I've seen all the big releases of 2024, and I will do a big like talking about my top 15. Should we do top 15 or top 20? I don't know. I'm gonna put a poll for that. But I will do a poll as well for the end of the year of what is y'all's favorite film of 2024. And I don't know how I'm gonna like separate that because there's like hundreds of movies, right? So I don't know. I don't know how we're gonna do that because I don't know how many like different polls I'm gonna have to do because each poll is like 4 movies you can put at a time. Like I'm doing the horror movie poll right now. If you want to go vote on that, definitely would love for you to go over there. We're doing 2022 best horror film. It's come down to 2 films, which is Smile and Terrifier 2. So if you can vote for which is your favorite, that's gonna end on Sunday, and then Monday we'll be revealing which is the best horror movie of 2022 according to so I don't know how we're going to do the best movie of 2024. I think I'll just base it based on box office and just how many views I guess the videos got that I did on the film to see where the interest is. But it's been a very good year. I don't know if I can put like my letterbox up here or anything like that, right? Let's see if I could do that. That would be great. Okay, that's retouch. Should I just retouch it and see how it looks? But I would love to put that up here. But yeah, I'm very curious. Let's see who is. Let's do a little poll right here. Let's have some fun with this. We'll be live for like this is gonna be like a 15-20 minute live for sure. So let's see who is going to be watching Nosferatu. If you all wanna tell me that in the poll I'm about to put, which I will be watching Nosferatu next week. I'm excited about that. So I definitely do want to talk more about that as well. Somebody in Australia, that's awesome right there to see. We're just talking favorite horror films of 2024, or actually just favorite films of 2024. I was just saying there's like 7 or 8 big releases left. Yeah, I'm excited for Craven for sure. I want to watch it, but I don't know when I'm going to be able to watch it. Maybe not this coming week, but probably the next week I'm going to watch it. I just saw it had like a premiere or something this weekend, so I'm excited about that to hear what people have to say about it. And the cast is great. It's just a really great cast there. Always excited for Aaron in films. He's in. I loved Bullet Train a lot, and I know a lot of people really didn't like Bullet Train, but I was a fan of Bullet Train for sure. And I definitely am ready to see what they're gonna do with Craven in this film that's coming out, and if that's gonna tie in with the Spider-Verse or anything like that. So let me see if I can fix this mic if it's like falling down. Yeah, Y2K was fun. It was fun. I thought it was fun as well. I watched it at a little screening they had for it, and it was like a lot of people in there, and everybody was just laughing, having a good time for sure. I think that's a movie that you definitely want to watch with a crowd because a lot of the things that happen, the jokes and stuff like that, was just really hilarious. Yeah, I love Bullet Train. It definitely caught me off guard, just how much action it really did have, and just how much style that movie had, which I really loved. I really haven't watched it since it came out, and I've been wanting to go back and revisit it just because of it. The needle drops in that movie, just that last needle drop was so great, honestly. I'm excited to see Aaron in more films and everybody involved in that as well. But yeah, this Y2K just came out this week, and that's the movie this week for May 24. I enjoyed Y2K. I thought it was a good movie that had some very funny laughs throughout, especially the first half of the movie is so strong for sure. And the second half does have its moments, especially with Kyle Mooney's character. I thought he was such a great character to have in the film. It really was great. Next week, we do just have Craven the Hunter. I believe that's like the big movie that's going to be released. And then we get into Sonic 3. We start getting into also Mufasa, The Lion King, which I watched The Lion King live action when it first came out. I think that was like 2019. And I don't really remember it that well. Like, of course, it's the same story and everything, but I just don't remember how I felt watching it. Like, I thought there were certain things about it that were cool and all of that, but it was just the same story, right? Well, with Mufasa, I'm kind of interested in seeing what exactly they want to do with this story, because I don't think they've ever done this story, right? Like, this is a whole complete brand new story. Because I think that when they did the other Lion King films, the animated ones, they went with a whole other story. So I'm curious to see what they did here, as well as Barry Jenkins directing. I'm a fan of If Beale Street Could Talk, as well as Barry Jenkins' film Moonlight. So we'll see how Mufasa the Lion King will be. And then Sonic 3, I just watched the recent trailer. I watched it in theaters when I went to go watch Wicked, and I really love that trailer. I love how they're showing the Shaos and the whole thing with Shadow being introduced, and the Eggman, like, family lineage and all of that being explored. I think that's awesome. And I think Keanu Reeves is great as Shadow the Hedgehog. That you definitely wanted somebody in that caliber. I was really hoping Hayden Christensen was going to be Shadow, because the voice of Anakin Skywalker's Shadow just fits so well, especially the paths that they take and everything. That would have been a very interesting choice to play Shadow, but I'm still okay with Keanu Reeves. I think he has a commanding voice for sure. And then we do have, of course, Nosferatu, which is my most anticipated movie of the year. I think I've made at least 10 Nosferatu videos since the summer, since this trailer or teaser, whatever, was shown apparently at CinemaCon. I believe that's when I started just pumping out a ton of videos, and I've been talking about it since Robert Eggers got attached to it, even back in the day when I lost my train of thought. When Harry Styles was in the film and also Anya Taylor-Joy were attached together, that's when I was interested in it. Of course, things went all over the place. I want to make a video about that this week as well, about how this film has sort of like gone through so much and we're finally here. And I also do want to do a watch party for the original Nosferatu. I was going to do it tomorrow, and I'm still thinking about it, but I think I'm going to push it a little further ahead just so more people know about it. So I might just do it the week after, the next weekend for sure, but I'll talk more to y'all about that later on. But it's just been a great year. I do wish I could put the green screen so I could put the Letterboxd top 12 that I have right now, but I am planning on doing a series of videos where I'm going to go over all of the films I watched this year. We're going to start from January to March. That's going to be one video, and it's like 30 films going to be talked about. I was planning to do just a long video where I talk about all 100 movies, because I watched about 100 movies this year, and just go over all of them in that video. But then I thought about it, if I'm at least devoting like 2 minutes to each one just to talk about them, it's going to turn into like, what, 200 minutes, which is almost like 2.5 hours, which is just being insane for a video. So I'd rather split it up into 4 and make them like be around 20 to 25 minutes each, and that's just going to be a series I'm going to work on for the rest of the month. But I'll also be doing the reviews. I have like 4 reviews I want to do this weekend. I watched this week Baby Girl. I also watched Werewolves, which was the new Frank Grillo movie. Also watched The Girl with the Needle, as well as Getaway, which is a very interesting selection of movies this week, and I do have thoughts on all of them. I think I will have the video for Baby Girl probably till next week though, since that's coming out till Christmas, but I will have a review on Werewolves this weekend, as well as Getaway, because they already opened, and I believe The Girl with the Needle opens next week. But if it opens this weekend, then I will do that video tomorrow. So a ton of videos I have planned to do for sure, so stay tuned for all of that. But I just want to get on here, do more lives. I do want to plan like more of a live show of sorts, where we go over many things. Film Vertical, of course, will just be for like these type of videos, but the other live I'm planning to do, I hope that mic didn't sound muffled. The other lives I'm planning to do every day next week are going to be horizontal, and those are going to be talking about the news and things like that. I used to do them at the beginning of the year, and then I kind of stopped because I kind of got too caught up with so many things that I was doing, but I do want to bring it back. There's a lot of things I want to bring back to the channel as well. I've also been doing too many videos just with audio. I do want to bring back doing more videos on camera, all of that. I think it's a lot better and I'm able to really like talk better with it and explain things. So that's going to be something I'm going to be bringing back next week. So stay tuned for that. I think we went really like hard on those type of videos when Long Legs was coming out and we were like deciphering things. So I am planning to do more analysis videos because of that. And one of the movies I want to go back and talk about is Robert Eggers films, which are going to be something I'm going to be discussing next week because of Nosferatu coming out in a couple of weeks. So we're going to start with The Witch. We'll move on to The Lighthouse, which is a film I really love. But my favorite Robert Eggers film right now, before watching Nosferatu, is The Northman. So that's going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks, those videos for those movies, sort of revisiting them. Because I feel like I didn't even really talk about them before on my channel. There's so many videos I've done before, and I do want to do them again just because I felt like the quality wasn't there. There's moments when I didn't have a camera or I didn't have my lighting and things like that, and still I'm a mess with things. So I don't know. It's something I do want to get into is re-recording a lot of these videos with better quality, a new setup and things like that, and just a refresher for the channel I think is needed. I think the channel has gotten a little bit stale in my opinion, and I do want to bring it all back together. And what a better way than just revisiting some of my favorite movies and talking about my favorite movies of this year as well. So that's going to be coming on the next couple of weeks as we reach the end of 2024. But I'm curious, which horror movie was your favorite? Which movie did you love the most in 2024 so far that you've seen? I do want to make a whole series as well in the month of December. There's so many series I want to make in December. There's like the series I want to make too as well is on awards. And I'm not somebody who really cares about awards like that because I think they're all so like politicized and it just depends on which studio is getting the better like treatment and things like that. But I do think it's interesting. A lot of people do love to just talk about those things and my thoughts on that because, yes, you can have your favorite movies, but there's also the movies you just know are just brilliant and you think they should win awards. So that's something I'm going to be doing as well because AFI, Spirit Awards, and all of that have just put out their nominees, and there's a ton in there. But I am excited for one movie in particular that's getting a lot of praise, and that's Sing Sing, because I think Sing Sing is one of those movies that was just so underseen when it was first released a couple of months ago, and I'm excited that A24 is planning to re-release that movie because I think Coleman Domingo definitely is going to give I was about to say Brady Colbert, but Adrian Brody a run for his money when it comes to the award season. I watched both The Brutalist as well as Sing Sing, and I will tell you, I think Coleman Domingo takes it for sure, in my opinion, but we shall see what happens. A lot of people are saying also Timothée Chalamet in A Complete Unknown is great, but I just don't know. I feel like Timothée Chalamet, if he would have won it, it would have been during Call Me By Your Name. I think that was definitely his strongest performance that I've seen, but I have not seen A Complete Unknown. I'll actually be watching that in 2 weeks, and I'm excited about that as well, just because it's James Mangold, it's Timothée Chalamet. I'm not the biggest person that knows about Bob Dylan, so I don't really have too much attachment to the idea of a story being about Bob Dylan, but I do want to see what exactly Timothée Chalamet and James Mangold bring to this story, which I think could be an interesting one for sure. And I'll also be doing a double feature of that one the same day with Sonic 3. So an interesting double feature indeed. And I'll be doing breakdowns and things like that for all of these movies. I have watched Night Bitch as well, which I do have a review out for that already. And I do want to do a breakdown analysis of that because I think there's so much in that film to talk about and discuss with. But I don't see many people really going to that review. So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how to do these videos as well. No, I have not seen that movie. I'll definitely put that on the watch list to add to. There's a lot of movies I do want to catch up with as well, but I'll add that one to my list on Letterboxd. If y'all want to follow me on Letterboxd as well, it's at Culture Elixir. If you have Letterboxd, where I log a lot of the films, I log everything I watch on there. But yeah, I do have a ton of films I'm still needing to get through for this year as well, and some from last year even still. So I'm definitely still keeping it open to seeing what we're gonna watch as well. I am putting stuff too now on Spotify, and I am doing that just because I know some people just want to listen on the go, and that might be a better option as well. But it's just the same type of content. But I am contemplating on doing longer form, like podcast type vibes with other creators as well, and that's something I'm been meaning to do for the last couple of years is collaborate with creators. And there's some that I know that I talk and always bring it up that we're gonna do a collab and stuff, and then it never happens. But that's a big thing I want to start doing, especially in 2025, is collaborating with others, because I think that would be interesting to bring some other voices on here as well. Hello, man. How are you tonight? Yeah, we're just discussing favorite horror movies, favorite movies of 2024, some of the series that I'm going to be doing for the channel as well, starting this weekend, which are going over all of the movies I watched this year, which is going to be broken down into like 4 episodes, because it's going to be like blocks of like January to March and then March to June, and just talking about all of that, as well as adding some new like series, like top movies that are going to go to the Oscars and things like that, my theories, my hypotheses, things like that. But I'm excited about Nosferatu. That's definitely the movie that I'm the most excited for this December, and one of my most anticipated of the whole year. And everything I've been hearing is so great. There's been some mixed reviews, and I talked about it in the video I did where I talked about the reviews for Nosferatu being out. And it's like, I would say out of 10 reviews, maybe 2 or 3 are like mixed, or they're saying Nosferatu's not all that. And I always say, take those with a grain of salt sometimes. Like I always say the same thing with reactions when they first come out. Sometimes people get a little bit too excited, and then they just gloat and gloat about the movie so much, and then that creates a lot of things for people that get so excited. So we saw that with Long Legs, and I tried to keep the expectations at bay, and I hope I am not someone who hypes you up and then you see the movie and you're just like, man, never mind. I try to just keep it like my thoughts. At the end of the day, this is what I feel, and sometimes I do get a little bit carried away with films. I will tell you that I do get excited, and I try to just be as like at the level, because I know we all have different tastes, we all like things for specific reasons, and so sometimes we don't really all vibe the same way, and that's okay. That's okay. So I have not watched Nosferatu yet, but I will be watching it this week, and I will give you my full thoughts and reviews on that as well, and first reaction. So stay tuned for that. That's probably going to be till next weekend, though, I think. So I did watch, for the movies coming out this weekend, I did watch Night Bitch, and I did watch Y2K. I will tell you, Y2K is a movie you want to watch with a crowd. I think so. I think it really gets a lot of reactions from people. There's a lot of jokes in there, especially if you were born around that time and you remember Y2K and living through it. I think you're going to get a good time out of it. I think that there's so many like sort of like nostalgia in it that really heightens it. So for somebody like myself that remembered Y2K, I remembered at school everybody talked about it, everybody was scared, everybody was saying what's going to happen, are we all going to come back from break, are we all going to be taken over by robots, like what is going to happen? So I remember all of that, and I do want to make a video just about Y2K and my thoughts on it and the event in itself and the movie, because it was such an interesting time, and I think we don't get enough movies talking about it. So I thought it was definitely interesting. We finally got Y2K, and that's what got me thinking. We don't really get movies talking about Y2K. It was crazy. It was a big deal in the news and everywhere. And I remember at the New Year's Eve party, everybody was scared. In my family, they were saying, that's it. Let's all get together, because if the machines and robots and all that go crazy, at least we'll be all together. That was like the big idea back then in '99, and it was crazy. It was crazy. So watching the Y2K movie just made me remember all of that. So it definitely added with that nostalgia. Yeah, it was everywhere. I think like everybody who's went through that, they'll definitely get a few laughs here and there from Y2K. And especially if you were listening to music and things like that, there's a lot of needle drops from that era here. It was just great. It was great. And then Night Bitch with Amy Adams was a movie that I thought definitely had a interesting tone to it, because the trailer makes it a little bit. So here's where I'll start out with the beginning. When I first heard about Night Bitch and I heard what it was about, I thought it was going to be like a straight up horror movie. Like we were going to get like a werewolf type scenario, but instead of a wolf, of course, it's Amy Adams turning into a dog. That's what the whole basis of the movie is. But then we got a trailer. It seemed a little bit more lighthearted and goofier. So I thought, okay, what are we doing here? I finally watched the movie, and it was a mix of both, which was great, because I loved that there was a lot of different like tones to it. Amy Adams is great in that movie for sure. Like she is amazing. Scoot McNairy as well, who plays the husband, is great. I do think that the movie does kind of get a bit repetitive as well, and I think that the movie starts to sort of do the same things over and over, which is some of the things that I think people have been hating that I've been hearing. But I think at the end of the day, its core message, I think Amy Adams' performance and Scoot McNairy and just the amount of humor it has definitely are what I love about the movie. And I think it's great. I don't think it's amazing or like the best movie ever. I'm not gonna say that, but I think if you love Amy Adams, if you love a good lighthearted story of sorts about life and things like that, Night Bitch is definitely not one of those movies that I think should be like skip. I don't know if I would run out to see it in the theater though, I'll tell you that. I don't know. I think it's okay if you wait for it to stream. Gladiator 2 and Alien Romulus. Yeah, I definitely have them high on the list. Alien Romulus, I think I have higher. I really love that movie. I know a lot of people weren't fans of it, but I did love a lot about it as well. I really like what Fede Alvarez is doing with the story. I'm curious to see now that they're going to do a sequel where they want to take it, because there's so many like paths and directions they can do. And then with the TV show coming out next year as well, from Noah Hawley, that has me more interested as well to see what exactly is in store for us from the Alien franchise. And I'm excited. Alien Earth looks good just from that little teaser, and it sounds good. One of the things too with Noah Hawley, I remember when I think I first started my channel like years ago, was that he was supposed to be doing like the Doctor Doom movie that was like rumored around the time. So I've been waiting for Noah Hawley to do something. Legion, I've seen bits and pieces of it. I haven't really watched these seasons, but I've heard it's amazing. So I'm excited to see what the future of Alien is going to be. And Gladiator 2 as well, it's doing really good. I am hoping that we do get some news if they're going to do Gladiator 3, which was something that they talked about right from the beginning when Gladiator 2 was first emerging. So I'm curious to see if they're gonna finish that trilogy or what is gonna happen with that, because I would definitely love to see where Ridley Scott wants to take this story next. I think that also Denzel Washington in that was great, and I'm excited to see a reemergence of more Denzel in the movies, and I'm excited for that for sure. And then I think I also was talking about earlier that I did want to do more of these videos where I break down some of the news that's coming out and things like that, because I don't think we've been doing that a lot recently, and there's been a ton of things that have been released, but I'm going to do that more on the live, and I'm going to do that every day probably. I think just breaking it down every day, unless it's huge news, then it will be its own video. I think that's how we'll probably move forward with all of this. And I do want to introduce some other stuff too as well to the channel and keep it fresher. I don't want the channel to go stale or things like that, but I really appreciate everybody, and reaching that 35K earlier this month was amazing, and I'm excited to go further and hopefully grow the channel a ton more. There's a ton of things I am planning to be working on pretty soon. Thank you again for that as well. I do want to introduce talking to other creators as well that I've been meaning to collaborate with, but I just never really found the time or the way to do it that I wanted to. And streaming is something I do want to go and do more of. That's the thing as well, is streaming is, I think, a better way to engage with all of y'all. I've been doing the community posts. I will still be doing those more and more, because I think that's always interesting to see what y'all think about things as well, not just my opinion on it. So I think I'm going to be doing more of those community polls throughout. Right now we're getting through the 2022 best horror film, and it came down to Smile. It came down to Terrifier 2. Those are the two going at it over the weekend. Out of 20 movies that we started with, those are the two that it ended up with. The previous winner of 2024 Best Horror Film was Smile 2, and then for 2023 it was Evil Dead Rise. So now we're going to see who wins out of Terrifier 2 or Smile, which was one of the biggest movies on the box office that year, as well as Smile. So I'm curious to see how Terrifier ends up. Right now, I think Smile's leading it on the community poll, so you can go vote right now. That's going to close on Sunday at 11:59 p.m., and then on Monday, we'll announce the winner of 2022. Hello, how are you? The end. So yeah, I'm going to be doing more community polls. That's something I want to do. I am planning on doing more of these lives as well. I do want to do more of the live where I'm just Oh, you see, I got the light just going off on me already. So sorry about the shift in the light right here. Let's see if we can fix that. But that's probably is my cue that I should definitely get off pretty soon. Wicked is definitely one of my favorite films of the year as well. I that movie just completely blew me. I knew nothing about Wicked when I first went to watch it, and I was blown away by it. I am planning to go see the sing along version, and I want to see just the experience of that on Christmas Day. So I am planning on that one, and I don't know, maybe I'll do a vlog going and all of that talk. That's something I wanted to do too is vlogs, and I have a ton of clips I've taken over the past 2 weeks, but I just don't know. I just don't know. Maybe I'll experiment and put one up tomorrow and see what y'all think about that, because I think that'd be an interesting perspective, like going to the screenings and things like that. Pearl. Pearl was definitely a movie I loved in 2022, and I was surprised not a lot of people voted for Pearl as much as I thought they would, especially considering it was everywhere, like on social media and things like that. That was definitely something that surprised me as well, with Pearl not really going further than I expected it to. Another one too that I saw people said they thought would go further was Barbarian, which it did, but then it kind of slowed down once it went up against like Smile or Terrifier and things like that. Hey, but I'm telling you, these community polls are always interesting to me because they always surprise me. Like, I think I know what's going to happen in them, and then it just out of nowhere, it's completely different. So that's always something great to see, is everybody's different opinion as well. And that's why I want to keep doing them throughout. I think that it really is an interesting way to find out what everybody's thinking about. And I'm very like curious to see Small just completely leading again right now. I'm curious to see it tomorrow how it's going to do, but it's going to run until Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Yeah, Barbarian was one of those movies that I was just like, when I remember in 2022, I would watch a trailer every time we went to this theaters, and I was just like, I don't know, that movie just looks like it's just like it's trying to keep us guessing, and it's just like, is the reveal going to be good? Is the reveal going to be? And I was mind blown when I watched Barbarian for the first time, and that reveal, especially at the halfway point when it just like cuts into something completely different. I was just like, what just happened? And it quickly became one of my favorites for sure. Oh, I did see that Lord of the Rings anime film. I didn't even know about that movie until like I saw the trailer, I think like earlier this week, and now I'm interested in it. I don't even know when it takes place in the like the story, right? I haven't looked into it as much, but the animation looks beautiful for that as well. And I did see its opening next weekend. Sonic 3, yeah, I'm looking forward to Sonic 3 a lot. I was just talking about it earlier that I saw that trailer for the first time when I went to watch Wicked on the big screen, and I was just like, finally, the chows are coming, and it's really feeling like Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, right, with everything, if you played the game and all of that, which has me excited. So I'm ready for Sonic 3 for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna watch Craven the Hunter. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it opening weekend. I don't think I'll be able to watch it opening weekend, but I'll definitely try to watch it on the following week for sure. And then I think that's the only movie opening next week besides the Lord of the Rings movie as well. So there's definitely a lot in December just dropping, because then Sonic 3 drops, and then you also have Nosferatu, which is a movie that I'm very excited for, especially after hearing all of the reviews. It's definitely a lot that's getting me excited about December, and I hadn't even realized how packed December was in those last 3 weeks until I did that video where I talked about all of the December releases I released earlier this week, and I was just like, there's a lot of stuff coming out in December, so I'm excited to see that. Oh, okay, okay. Before the original trilogy, then I do want to definitely watch that as well. And I'm gonna see if I'm able to see it next weekend, because next weekend I don't know if I'll be able to see any movie, but I definitely do want to put it on my list just because the animation looked gorgeous on that. So definitely gonna put that on my list and look into it as well. But yeah, just a ton of movies I'm excited for December, and the one that's like the least like on my list to watch for sure is the A Complete Unknown, which is the Bob Dylan biopic. But I'm just curious, just because people said it was good, with Timothy Chalamet, Elle Fanning, and James Mangold directing. I just don't know much about Bob Dylan, to be honest, like that. I've heard some of his songs, but that's the only film I'm not too sure about. And then Mufasa the Lion King. I'm curious about it just because I have they ever made a story like that with Mufasa where like he's young and things like that. That's what I'm curious about as well. Yeah, there is actually a movie that just came out this weekend called Werewolves with Frank Grillo. I did watch it, and I do have a review coming out for that tomorrow. And it's more, that movie was like definitely like an early 2000s feel type action horror movie of sorts. And kind of like I would say Underworld kind of meets Call of Duty of sorts. That's the best way I could describe it. That's kind of like what I got from it. It definitely knows what its like appeal is like this very fast-paced action, not taking itself too seriously, and you throw in some werewolves and like people like hunting them and things like that. But yeah, it just came out this weekend, and I did watch it today. I was gonna do the review today, but then I just got like swamped with a lot of things, and I wasn't able to put anything out today. But I do have the review for Werewolves coming up tomorrow, and as well as the film Get Away, which is a horror comedy which stars Nick Frost, and that's the same guy from Shaun of the Dead. And also, I do have a review coming out next week for Baby Girl as well as for The Girl with the Needle. Those are two other movies as well that I watched this week. So it was a pretty busy week of movies for sure. And then next week, I don't know what I'll be able to watch. I do want to watch Conclave, which is that movie that has Ralph Innes. And speaking of Ralph Innes, they did release the poster today for 28 Years Later, which I'm excited to see what exactly Danny Boyle is going to do with that movie right there. I've been anticipating seeing where that story goes next, so I'm excited to see what that's going to be. And Ralph Innes is in that movie, so I'm excited to see Raph. Somebody told me last time you say it Raph. I don't know. Ralph, Raph. But nonetheless, I'm excited about 28 Years Later and seeing where this story goes for sure. But yeah, this is very much so a thing I'm going to be doing more often, getting on live and things like that. And tomorrow I will be uploading all of those reviews. I'm going to try and finish editing all of them right now so they can go up this weekend for y'all. And I'll probably do another live tomorrow. So stay tuned for that as well. Yeah, I gotta say that that definitely was one of my first introductions as well to Nosferatu. I just remember watching that as a kid, and it actually scared me, which was funny. But I was like, I don't remember how old I was, but I remember it just like scared me seeing Nosferatu, and it was just like, what? I was just like, what is going on? But it definitely, I think, was a big thing to have it on SpongeBob. And I do want to talk about that actually. Now you got me a good video idea as well. But appreciate that one right there. 28 months later, yeah, that's what I'm curious about. Like, what is going on here? I'm curious if they just want to revisit that later on. Like they jumped at the years now, and then they're gonna jump back to the months, right? Like, cause that's what I thought exactly was gonna be the thing here, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. I do want to talk more about that. I'm curious when we'll get a trailer. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some trailers, especially on Christmas Day, that come out. That's usually when we get some big trailers for the next year. But there's definitely a lot of things that I do want to discuss pretty soon. So stay tuned. I will be uploading those videos tomorrow. I will be going on live again tomorrow, probably around, I would say maybe 1 p.m., 2 p.m. But I will have those videos out, so stay tuned. Appreciate all of y'all. Hope y'all have a good night. Everybody who watched live, if you're rewatching this as well after, really appreciate you as well. Yeah, I'll definitely be watching it and letting y'all know how it is, and if there's like jump scares or stuff like that. I've heard there's some pretty good jump scares in it, so I'll let y'all know when I watch it next week how that is. But I really appreciate y'all. I love y'all always supporting the videos and supporting the channel. It means a lot, and I really do appreciate it so much. So thank you again from the bottom of my heart for reaching 35K, and tons of new videos, tons of new series coming. Stay tuned for that and more lives. So really appreciate you. Have a good night, y'all.